The sun blazed mercilessly over Los Angeles, making the air thick and heavy, a heat that clung to your skin and blurred the edges of the cityscape into a shimmering haze. It was one of those days where everything felt sluggish. Cars crawled through traffic. The hum of distant construction mingled with the occasional shout of a street vendor, and even the birds seemed too lethargic to chirp. Yet, amidst the city's familiar chaos, a sleek black SUV glided quietly down a residential street, its tinted windows shielding the world from the person inside. The car slowed to a stop, and the faint hum of the engine cut off as the door opened. Out stepped Angelina Jolie, dressed in simple jeans and a loose white blouse that rippled gently in the occasional breeze. Her face, unmistakable even without the layers of makeup and glamour, bore a serene yet purposeful expression. She was here for a visit to a community center she supported, a place where she often came to connect with people whose stories rarely made the headlines. As she made her way down the street, a group of kids playing with a worn soccer ball froze mid-game. Their eyes widened, and whispers spread like wildfire. "Is that?" one of them murmured, clutching the ball tightly. Angelina turned to them with a warm, inviting smile and a small wave. The kids giggled and waved back, their excitement palpable. But just as she approached the community center, something stopped her. A sound, faint but distinct. It was a mix of hushed voices and a child's soft whimper, coming from an alleyway nearby. She hesitated, her instincts kicking in. Years of humanitarian work had honed her ability to sense when something wasn't right. Turning toward the alley, she walked cautiously, her footsteps soft against the pavement. The sight that greeted her was heart-wrenching. A family of 4 huddled together, parents and 2 young children. Their clothes were dusty and worn, their faces etched with exhaustion and fear. The father, a man in his mid-30s with dark, tired eyes, held a little girl close to his chest. The mother cradled a toddler who was fussing softly, his small face streaked with dirt. Angelina crouched down to their level, keeping her movements slow and her voice gentle. "Hi there," she said, her tone calm and reassuring. "Are you okay? Do you need help?" The father looked up, startled. His eyes darted around nervously as if expecting trouble. "We're fine," he said quickly, his accent thick but his English clear. "Thank you." Angelina's gaze softened as she looked at the little girl. Her face was streaked with tears, and her small hands clutched at her father's shirt. "You look tired," Angelina said softly. "Have you eaten today?" The mother, her voice barely above a whisper, replied, "Not since yesterday." She clutched the toddler tighter, as if her grip alone could shield him from the harshness of their reality. Angelina nodded, her mind racing. She stood up briskly. "Wait here," she said. "I'll be right back." Returning to her car, she rummaged through a small stash she always kept: bottles of water, snacks, a few blankets. As she carried them back to the family, she couldn't help but think of her own children and how different their lives were. The contrast was stark and sobering. When she handed the little girl a granola bar, her eyes lit up with a mixture of wonder and hunger. She tore into the wrapper eagerly, and even the toddler stopped fussing as his mother helped him nibble on a piece of bread. The parents exchanged a look, a mix of gratitude and lingering caution. "Thank you," the father said, his voice breaking slightly. "We didn't mean to bother anyone." "You're not bothering me," Angelina replied firmly. "You're doing what you need to do to take care of your family. That's nothing to apologize for." She sat with them on the edge of the curb, listening as they shared their story. They were refugees, recently arrived in the U.S. after fleeing violence in their home country. Ahmed, the father, spoke haltingly but earnestly, describing the harrowing journey that had brought them here. They had no relatives, no place to stay, and barely enough money to survive. The mother, Amina, interjected occasionally, her voice trembling as she recounted the dangers they'd faced. Angelina listened intently, her heart aching with every word. "You've been through so much," she said softly. "But you're here now. That's what matters." She pulled out her phone and started making calls. Her voice was calm but firm, each word laced with urgency. Within an hour, a van from a local nonprofit organization arrived. The staff, warm and welcoming, introduced themselves and assured the family they would be taken to a safe place where they could rest, eat, and begin to plan their next steps. Before they left, Ahmed turned to Angelina, his eyes brimming with emotion. "We will never forget this," he said. "You've given us hope when we had none." Angelina reached out and placed a hand on his shoulder. "You're stronger than you think," she said. "And you're not alone. There are people who care and want to help." As the van pulled away, Angelina stood there, watching until it disappeared around the corner. The street seemed quieter now, the earlier buzz of the city fading into the background. She took a deep breath, her heart heavy but full. For the next several days, she kept in touch with the nonprofit, checking on the family's progress. She even visited them once they were settled in temporary housing, bringing toys for the children and sitting down to share a meal. The little girl, now smiling and more at ease, handed Angelina a crayon drawing of a family standing under a bright sun. In the corner, she had written, in shaky letters, "Thank you." Angelina kept that drawing, a reminder of why she did what she did. The world's problems were vast and overwhelming, but moments like this proved that even the smallest acts of kindness could create ripples far beyond what anyone could see. And as she drove away that evening, the setting sun casting a golden glow over the city, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. She couldn't change the world alone, but she could make a difference. One family, one story, one act of compassion at a time.